Good afternoon, ladies, and thank you for joining us today. As we all know, we're in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and we've all had extreme changes in our life. We've had extreme changes in our skills with technology. We've learned new things that we thought we would never have to learn or know how to do, and yet we were successful with that. With that said, as we were filming our workshop, there were some technology issues, so there will be a couple of transitions that we didn't really plan for, but they just needed to happen. So hopefully you will enjoy the cards and find something that you can do with your chapter or just for yourself to nurture others.
Welcome to our workshop titled Nurturing Members with Handmade Cards. Hi, I am Dee Snyder, President of New Chapter Region 10 in Catawba County. Our theme this year is to be more available and make more regular contacts with our members. Handmade cards is a great and special way to do this. Today we're going to demonstrate several cards. Directions and materials will be available on the state website. Now I'm going to turn this over to Carol Boston. She is our membership chairman and also our editor to our newsletter. She's going to talk to you about certain papers and adhesives. Carol?
Hi, I'm Carol Boston, former kindergarten teacher, so I like to do things that are cheap and easy. So we're going to show you some inexpensive and easy ways that you can make handmade cards. One of the things I'm going to share with you are some different options for papers and adhesives to use when you're making cards. First of all, you can purchase pre-made cards like the craft paper cards. And what that is one card and an envelope, and they have sets of 25, so it fits right in the envelope. The same thing with an ivory colored card. You can buy these at any of the craft stores or somewhere like Office Depot or Staples. Another option, and this will give you a template if you wanted to print something on your card, it would give you a template, so some pre-made cards and envelopes like this. This was purchased at Office Depot. Another style, and this one is the same size as a regular sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, that you fold in half, but the cards are already in here. Those are some more expensive kinds of papers, but as I said, I'm cheap, so I like to do things the cheap way. A package of cardstock at Walmart is $3.97 for 80 sheets. You could make 80 cards out of one pack of paper for $4. So this is one of my favorite things. However, there's another cardstock that I like better because it's a little bit heavier, and this is available at Sam's, probably other places too, but that's where I get it. So this is the one that I use the most, is my Sam's cardstock. You can get colored cardstock, which comes in various colors if you choose to do that. And then one of the most important things if you're using cardstock is an envelope to put it in. And you can purchase a whole box of envelopes that are made just to fit this kind of card. So here I have a sheet of cardstock. I'm going to fold it in half. And to make that seam lay down good, you can use a little tool like this. Or an easier way to do it is use a credit card or a hotel key. Basically the same thing. And that makes you a nice finished edge. And then that would fit right inside the envelope. So these two things are my go-tos when I'm making cards. As far as adhesives, there's lots of different things. There's your regular double stick tape that you can get just about anywhere. This is more of a scrapbooking tape. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is also available. The one thing to remember is look for permanent tape. You don't want something that's repositionable because then your things will fall off your card. We also use glue dots a lot. Remember, that needs to be permanent also, not repositionable. And one of my favorites is the foam mounting tape. If you want something to be raised off the front of your card just a little bit, foam mounting tape works great. And one of the newest tools we've started using is a tape runner. You can get these where it runs a line of double stick tape wherever you want it. Very easy to use. And then of course your old standby glue, where you can, a little bottle like this you can get for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So all of these things are things that you can use when you are making your cards. So now we're going to turn it back over to Dee to make our first card.
This greeting card is called Sprinkle a Little Happiness. And this is a finished product of what it looks like when you're done. The materials that you're going to be needing, again, is as Carol talked about, the cardstock paper. And you'll need a Sharpie, permanent marker, and a couple of pencils. This is a primary style size pencil, and we have a regular size pencil. You'll also need some paints, and we're using this just acrylic craft style paint, and we do have a little palette. You get both of these at Dollar General or Dollar Tree, and they have these things available. Another little thing that you can do, and I'll show this in just a few minutes, but this is a little craft square, I guess, sponges. And you can dip those in your paints instead of that. The main thing is that we're going to be sprinkling little paint dots all over the tree. Okay? First of all, our cardstock and a personal printer. You're gonna print or type "Sprinkle a Little Happiness" in the right-hand corner of your paper. We're going to fold this in half, and you're going to match up your corners and fold it in half. And again, we're going to use that little tool that Carol had up from Sam's, or this is a Sam's Club card, and to give you a good crease as a tool, okay? Then you're going to take this and a Sharpie, and you're going to draw your tree on there. I have chosen to etch this on there because if this is something that permanent, and in case I mess up, I've got, maybe this helps me not to mess up so much. So you're just going to trace your etch or draw it, either one. And you just draw your limbs only, no leaves, and then you just keep going, and then you shade everything in. I have one ready to go, and so you can see what I have done here is I went ahead and shaded this tree in. Now we're going to take our pencils and our paint. I do have a baby wipe here. I do have some paper towels. In doing this, the first time I did this, I had an issue with the paint. There was too much paint on the pencil eraser. So I think it's best to just really, the directions say lightly touch your paint, and that's a good idea. All right, we're going to take a pencil, this is a primary pencil, and we're just going to dab it just a little bit, and so we have this little bubble at the end. We're just going to lightly get rid of that bubble, and then we're just going to kind of print by stamping this on there around your branches, okay? And then you take a baby wipe, you change the color, and then you can go on to a different color of your palette, okay? And you want to continue all the way around your limbs until you have filled in where you want to shade in as the leaves. And this is the final product of what it looks like. This is a great card, Sprinkle a Little Happiness. Maybe someone's is going into a new home, a get well. It can be a card for all kinds of purposes. One more thing is another variation is to take broccoli. You can actually use this instead of your primary pencils. And you would just dab a little bit of the broccoli into your paint, and you can sprinkle on top of your leaves, branches, not leaves but branches. And I use the broccoli on this one for the fall look, the fall colors. Okay, thank you.
Our next card is called Shine Bright, And yes, this looks a little Christmassy, which might be okay because that's coming before we know it. But one reason, remember I said I'm cheap and easy. Maybe that didn't come out right. Anyway, the tape that I used came from the Dollar Tree. 3 colors for $1. You can't beat that. So that's what kind of card we have here. But I also bought what's called washi tape. And the washi tape, you can get it again. I got this at Walmart, $2.63 for 1 color, or sometimes they'll have a set with, 5 or 6 colors together, but I wanted the golds. So I got some washi tape. Also, Dollar General had just plain gold washi tape and silver together for $1. So again, cheap and easy. And then the little gems that I put on here were also from Dollar General, and these will all be on your materials list, so you'll see where we shopped for some of these things. But to make this card, you're going to measure and cut approximately, depending on which way you turn your card. I turned mine horizontal or hamburger style. So my pieces of tape are approximately 4 inches, but you could also do the same thing and turn your card vertical or hot dog style, and either way is fine, but you would need longer pieces of tape. Now, what I did to make it easy is I've already pre-cut some tape, but I am going to show you. I just kind of measured out. It doesn't have to be exact. 1 piece of tape, cut it carefully, and then I place it. I started in the center of my card because I felt I could move towards the edges easier and kind of judge how far I needed to be. But one trick is to go ahead and cut all of your pieces of tape, or however many you think you're going to need. And that way, when you get ready to stick them on, it's very easy to do that. Now, what we're going to do is vary where they are at the top and the bottom. So if it's a little bit longer than I want, I just clip a little bit off the end. And then I put my next one. And see, that piece of tape's already a little bit shorter, so it works okay. And then I do my next one, and you just keep going until you have it as far across your paper as you want that. And then the last thing you're going to do, I have a sheet here where I cut a whole bunch of the Shine Bright statements, and then I cut them apart with a paper cutter, or you could use scissors. So here is one that's already cut. I'm going to turn it over on the back and use some of that foam mounting tape that I talked to you about, and I'm going to cut just, excuse me, a piece for each end and 1 piece for the middle. And what this does is it lets it stand out from the card just a little bit. It gives it a little bit of a dimension. And then you just peel the green backing off the back, and that's probably the hardest part if you don't have very good fingernails like me. And I'm just going to peel the first one instead of wasting your time. But then you just place that on your card. Sorry ladies, a little technology glip there, but we did want to show you the finalized card except for the bling on it. This is what your final card looks like with the washi tape and the little Shine Bright over the top. Thank you.
Okay, our next card is a get well or just a note card. This is probably one of the easiest cards to make. I enjoyed making them, and I made several different sizes, but this is a finished product for a larger size, and this is for the smaller size. And I think they really work well. Some of your materials are a brown craft paper blank purchase card, the washi tape, or I even found some decorative duct tape that's small and narrow that works good too. And then your message sheet. And you'll have this sheet in your materials on the website, but it'll already have the sayings in there. But this message sheet can be cut with a 2-inch circle, or it can be cut with just scissors, the message out, okay? You'll also need some foam mounting tape, all right? So let's get started. You take your, this is a purchased brown card, and you want to go ahead and place where your tape is going to go. You take a ruler And we just measure and a pencil and just measure up 1 inch from the bottom, okay, in 2 places, and then connect them. Because this is a very narrow washi tape and I really wanted to use this peach color, this salmon peach color, I went ahead and did 2 markings. One is less than 1 inch and the other one is just a quarter of inch above that line, okay? So the next thing that you want to do is go ahead and get your tape. I have pre-cut it, so we won't have time to do that now. And then you lay your tape, your washi tape, on the line that you drew, okay? And you want to extend the tape off the paper and press pretty firmly there, because that way it will have a really good edge. And we'll go ahead and do the next piece as well. And it's, like I said, it's a quarter inch up. And we'll just place that down and secure it. Okay. So then making sure that our edges are good, and then take some scissors and then just trim your tape. And you have a very, very good secure tape edge, and looks good. Okay, then from there you will choose a saying that you would like to have. I like to get and this is actually scrapbook paper that you're using to print off of your template, and take some foam tape and put one at the top, 2 pieces, and one at the bottom, and then remove your covering, and this one at the bottom. And then your placement is where you want it to be, but to be a little off center like that, you want to take your knuckle and lay it down, and that'll be at the edge, at one edge of your circle, and then just press down, and that's it. Very easy. Thank you.
All right, next we're going to do a fairly simple card called To Somebody Special. And so it makes it sound like we're going to do thumbprints. The card looks similar to this. What I did first was I printed To Somebody Special on the bottom of my pre-purchased card. Now I'm going to fold that card in half and use my little tool here to make that good edge on it. But before I start printing, I'm going to show you some trial and error things from home. First of all, when I used my thumb to print, it looked too big. To me, that was just oversized and didn't look very appealing. So I said, okay, for an adult, even though we're saying somebody special, I'm going to use a different finger. So the next time I used my tall man, my middle finger, to make the prints, and that seemed to be okay. But this one was also made with that same finger, and I'm still thinking maybe for an adult I should use my pinky. So the one we're going to practice with is the pinky. There's 2 different methods you can use to do this card. One is to use washable markers, and yes, you need to be sure they're the washable markers. They're a little bit more expensive than your regular markers, but you'll see why in just a minute. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to color on my finger. Remember, I taught kindergarten and kids love to do this. I'm going to start near the right hand side of my paper and make my print. And then I'm going to take my baby wipe and wash that finger off. Now the pink comes off pretty good without a whole lot of a tint to it because I'm using washable markers. The yellow will come off pretty good. And again, you just color your finger and make your print. And one reason I started on the right is because I'm right-handed, and if I move from right to left, I can see where I'm placing that without unintentionally getting on top of the print that I already made. Again, I wipe the color off my finger. I'm going to switch now and do green. Because you think about green being a deeper color, let's see what happens. I'm going to color that finger, make my print. Okay, looks very pretty on the paper. Let's see what happens to my finger now. All right, most of it came off, but I've still got a little hint of color. When I take my shower tonight, that will go away, but if that bothers you, another thing you can do is use some of that dollar paint that Dee used on her, which card was it, Dee? The one with the tree.
For sprinkles.
The Sprinkle a Little Happiness. Same paint, dollar for all these colors. What I've done is I've just put it in a little palette so it's easier to get to. And this time I'm going to paint my finger with that paint, make my print. And I have to be careful that slides around a little bit when I do that. Okay, this card was made with the paint. So it's a little bit more pastel. If you have regular tempera paint, you could do the same thing and it's not going to stain your finger very much. So that's all there is. You just keep going until your prints are all the way across the card and you're ready to send that to a friend or family member. Thank you.
Our next card is called Bring On the Happy. Now we had a fun time when we got together to practice and to look over this workshop. That Bring On the Happy could be almost anything. It could be bring on happiness in like for a new baby, for a birthday. It could be all kinds of things, but we like that. And this card, when I first saw it on the piece of paper, I wasn't sure about it. I wasn't sure that it was going to be a cute card or easy to make, but it really was. It's a little tedious because you're working with little teeny tiny triangles, but it is a lot of fun and it looks really good at the end. That's one finished product. We also have one with the pastels, and you can actually use stock paper that's a different color as well. So it's really good. You'll need some scrapbook paper, scraps. You'll also need some either foam mounting tape or the tape runner. You'll also need a thin black marker and of course scissors to cut your triangles. All right, so let's get started. You'll need to go to the computer again, and you'll need to print out your words. Bring on the happy. Now we left, as you can see on some of your template or your instructions, it shows happy birthday on another line, but we chose just to do the one line and for simplicity reasons. Okay, you want to fold it in half, and your fold is going to be on your left. Okay, so you fold that up, and then you will select your template, which you'll have in your materials folder. And this particular one has different sizes of triangles on it, but we did the 1.25. Now you can, to print this on your scrapbook paper is great. It works great if you want to do it that way. But your scrapbook paper, either your printer needs to be adjusted to the size of your scrapbook paper, or it needs to be 8.5 by 11 to get a good size on your scrapbook paper. But I didn't have that luxury, so I just used a little tiny bit of a template, cut it out, and then laid it on my scrapbook paper, and I cut it with scissors, and that works as well. Then after you get your triangles, then you just lay them down in the order that you want them to be. And I would suggest that you go ahead and put these down, so then you'll know where the placement's going to be. You do a swag line, and then you will then you'll take your mounting tape and put them at the top, okay? So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to do one line because of time purposes, but it'll give you an idea. Go ahead and put your mounting tape on there. If you want it to be raised, like this one is kind of a raised off the paper, it looks good that way. So then you go ahead and mount that down, press that down firmly, then take your other one, another piece of foam tape, and put that down, press hard, and then another one until you have a one row. I'm going to go ahead and finish this row so then you can see how you use the marker, and then you can do your other swags as well. At least you've got an idea of how to do the finish line. Okay, the next thing that we wanted to do once you place your triangles on there is with the bow. And the bow, you just have to come to a thin Sharpie and just draw a little circle, and then just like a little bow, and then just little streamers down. And I went ahead and, since they're not connected, to show that you've got ribbon underneath there. Just a little trick of illusion here. And then another bow at the end. Okay? And that gives your row, and then you'll do your next row, a swag of your triangles, and then finish it that way. Okay? Thank you.
All right, now we're going to make, it's actually two different cards, just different sayings on them, made on the full-size cardstock, folded in half. One says thinking of you, and one says you're in my thoughts. Again, just something you could send to a member who maybe, you know, has just come out of the hospital, or maybe a death in the family. All right, with the thinking of you card, I used paper flowers, which you can get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. With the paper flowers, I used a glue dot and just put a glue dot on my card, and then stuck the flower right on the glue dot, and then you can use a little bling, and because there's a glue dot under there and there's a hole in the flower, you just stick the bling right to the flower. Or if you prefer, you can buy more expensive stickers at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and just use the stickers to put on in place of the flowers. Another option for this card is the You're in My Thoughts. We found these retro looking stickers, which I thought were just really cool. Sorry, I'm a 60s child here. But with that, you see how they're just stuck on the card. But it's a little bit tricky to get these to come off of the backing and not get all wonky when you try to put it on the card. So I'm going to do one. I'm starting on the side of the circle closest to the little bling in the middle of the circle. I'm peeling just a little bit of that sticker loose. Turn my paper over so the sticky part is facing my card. And then I gently pull that plastic backing off of the sticker, and I'm just kind of pushing with my finger so that it lays down flat. And when I get to the edge of the circle, then it's nice and round. And that's the easiest way to get your retro stickers off of the sticker card. So two different ideas there, lots of stickers available that you can find anywhere. Thank you.
Okay, our next card is called the Colorful Hello Friend card. But of course, the hello friend is just one type of phrase. You can use other phrases as well. Things that you'll need are some paint samples. Now this is what I like about this card, is that it's unusual, and it's going into Lowe's or Home Depot, or you can even order them off of, what was that, Carol? Oriental Trader. But these are little paint sample strips. You do have to cut them different sizes, or at least the names off of them, because the paint name is on the strip. So you do have to remove that. But it can be different sizes. This looks like it's about a 1/2 inch width, and these are cut on the cutter, or you can do it by scissors. I chose the little wider width, and this is about 7/8 of an inch. And I cut them that way. You'll need 5 strips. You'll need white stock paper, and you fold the card in half. And then you will also need either foam mounting tape or the tape runner. And it depends on if you want them raised off of your paper or not. And then, but first of all, I guess you can, I didn't show you the finished product, but this is one that is the thicker strip, and this is the smaller strip. Okay? You'll also need some words. And these are, I had no idea about these stickers until Carol. But you buy these stickers at Michael's. They're called word stickers. And they actually have adhesive on the back of them that you peel the whole word off, which is nice and convenient for sure. But you've got several varieties here that you can choose from, and they're out there, okay? You also need a little package of little jewel tones, little jewels to make it, to kind of glamour it up a little bit. All right, so cardstock, fold in half. Then you want to take your strips after you cut them, and you want to start in the center. And as you can see on the directions, and you can see the pictures here, they're not all even. You actually can alternate them in different sizes, and that gives your eye a different pleasing look. So we take the tape runner, and you just lay it down and put your tape over top of that. And then you start in the center. It works well that way. And you just press it down. Okay. And then you go out of there. All right, out from there. And just take your runner tape and put it on there, on the back side, and just put them on. And then you take one word, and we're going to be using the hug. These little words come with adhesive on the back, so you just very carefully pull them off and then lay it across your, and that's it. Easy peasy.
Ladies, the last card that we're going to make this afternoon is one with the sentiment that says, life is so much better with you in it. This is something you could send to a friend, to a family member, to one of your DKG sisters. Very generic. And in case we forgot to do this earlier, the inside of every card we're doing is blank, so you can write your own message on the inside of the card. So the materials that we need this afternoon are a piece of cardstock with our message already printed on the cardstock. We fold that in half and use a credit card, or if you've got one of the fancy tools, to make your edge nice and straight. You're also going to need some butterfly cutouts. These came from the Dollar Tree, 32 of them for $1 in different colors. There's blues, there's ones that are like the monarch butterfly colors, and there are pink ones. And this afternoon, we're going to look at the ones that are made with the pink and the blue butterflies. All right, so now you're going to take your blank card that you folded at the beginning and a piece of bubble wrap. This is a scrap out of a package that I received, and I just cut it so it wasn't any bigger than the front of my card. And you're going to take your acrylic paint, which is available for $1 just about anywhere you go shopping. And I'm going to use a little foam paintbrush, and I'm just going to dab some of that paint. You can use any color. This happens to be kind of a silver metallic, but you can use any color. Randomly put that on your paper, on your bubble wrap, turn it upside down, and press gently. You don't want to press too hard because if you got too much paint, it'll make a big blob. And there's my random print on the front. Now, since this one's wet, excuse me, I've got another one that I had already done, so I'm going to skip to that one. And you're going to take some of those butterflies and gently fold in the middle where the body is so that you've got a little edge right here. And on that edge, you're going to cut some of the foam mounting tape. And it doesn't need to be much because that body is kind of skinny. And you're going to put that right in the center of the body and then peel the backing off. That's the hardest part for me, is getting the back to come off. And you can place that butterfly wherever you want to on the front of your card. And I've already got the the foam mounting tape on the back of my other ones. So you peel that off and put it wherever you want on your card, and then it's ready to go into your envelope. We hope that you have learned some easy ways to make cards. There's lots of fancy, expensive ways to do cards, but hopefully these will be some inexpensive ways that you can make cards with your chapter or just to send to friends and family. And we appreciate you coming this afternoon. You will have an opportunity to evaluate our workshop at the end of the afternoon session this afternoon. So please be sure and check back so that you can do an evaluation for us. Thanks again.